Radio, reality radio. We're about to get started. My name is Clinton Paris, and you are live on Straight Up the Middle, a talk show where we focus on national politics. And as I like to remind everyone, if you find yourself during our discussion disagreeing with me, you are either, well, you're not in the middle, because that's where I occupy the middle lane. My perspective is the most middle lane that you could possibly be in. So you must be off in the right slow lane, or you might be in the medium. But if you disagree with me, it just simply means that you are not in the middle. So anytime you want to, please feel free to join us as we go on this journey discussing the politics of the day here on In Touch News Radio, reality radio. Everybody could be a star. And the reason we call that reality radio is you can jump in. If you are so inclined to call and want to chat and talk or participate, the call-in number is 813-444-9588, 813-444-9588. We also stream the show live on In Touch News YouTube and the In Touch News Facebook page, so you can actually watch the live streaming of the show as we are broadcasting it from the In Touch News studios in Tampa, Florida. And I don't know about where you are. It's pretty hot here. I know we got some rain last week, but it's scorching hot, as my sister Essie would say. It is scorching hot outside right now. So even though there's much to enjoy, just be aware of the danger of the heat. One of the things I want to point out is this weekend there are two things being celebrated, around America. One is a Father's Day, which is tomorrow, and then of course Juneteenth. And I'm sporting my Juneteenth shirt, emancipation celebration, and I just would encourage everyone to take a moment to learn a little bit more about Juneteenth's history, and then some of the implications behind that. Now, let's be frank about it. The end of the Civil War, the end of slavery, and Juneteenth did not result in the full freedom for African Americans in the United States. And in some respects, we're still fighting for our full access to all the rights and privileges entitled to us as citizens. I don't want anybody to be confused that I think just because I lean heavily towards democratic principles and policies, that I'm confused about the history of the Democratic Party and its role in not only the Civil War, because it was on the side of slavery in the Civil War, its role in, after the Civil War, coming up with one of the most horrific structures ever seen in world history of Jim Crow, to further strip people of African descent from their access to the rights and privileges of being a citizen. They created a terrorist structure in which to control and exploit Black Americans, African Americans, those of African descent. It is probably, I think, the darkest period in America, but I'm not confused about the Democratic Party's complicity in that. I'm not confused about the Democratic Party's role in not fully embracing civil rights. Go look at some of the civil rights votes and look at the votes, how they break down. Look at who's on what side. The crazy thing happened was this. The most racist and oppressive Black people most oppressive people in the Democratic Party, they got fed up with the system trying to elevate the Black experience, and they left. They didn't go in the woods or go jump in the sea or, just disappear. They moved to the Republican Party. The Republican Party was weak, and these Southerners who wanted to protect their way of life, and the Northerners too, not just Southerners, they moved over to the Republican Party and found a home. And slowly, the Democratic Party has relented, and maybe it has not gone as far as it should have gone as it relates to creating opportunities to equal the playing field for black people in America. The Republican Party is not even making any effort. And what it's done, however, it's created an economic opportunity for some folks to, you know, sell out their communities for the most part. Some of the things they get up and talk about are just incredible. For example, I was listening to Roland Martin this week, and he said, "Listen, don't listen to what I have to say. Go look at some stats." So I challenge everybody to go look at the CARES Act. Okay, CARES Act 1 and 2. CARES Act 1 was Trump. CARES Act 2 is Biden. The CARES Act deals with funding for, and one of the things under that umbrella is funding for historically black colleges and universities. Now, why is that important? We all know the avenue to prosperity and opportunity in America is education. That's the avenue. Now, can you get there some other ways? Yeah. Every now and again, somebody goes from high school to the pros in football. Every blue moon. But that's not the regular avenue. You know, the regular avenue is for a person to develop fully in America. You get a high school education, go to college, get a college education, and become proficient in whatever profession you want to be in. But better than that, you're an informed, knowledgeable person, so you can navigate American society. You can deal with understanding financial literacy and teach yourself how to manage your money. You can deal with legal issues that come up in your life, whatever it may be, such that it's not a major setback. You can engage with society at a level that creates an equal balance in what you're dealing with, as opposed to just being dictated to. So education is the key. So when I talk about this funding thing, well, where still today, where today are most African Americans educated at historically black colleges and universities? They turn out more college graduates, more PhDs, they turn out more educated African Americans than other schools. And even more so now, because other schools have no incentive to try and increase their population. But Roland Martin showed that under the CARES Act 1, Donald Trump put about $350 million in HBCUs. Under Joe Biden, that number is about 575. I'll just stop right there. We got a caller on the phone. Good morning, caller. Is this the professor?
It is. Good morning.
Good morning, Professor. And I appreciate you taking a break from class to come on. As everybody knows, professors in class right now teaching the youths of tomorrow and educating them for whatever greatness they may go on to do. And I appreciate you taking a break from class to come on. How you feeling today, Professor?
I'm good, and you are an excellent hype man, because I don't feel nearly as upbeat as that about the students that I teach. So thank you for reminding me.
Hey, listen, I was one of those students at one point in time. Trust me, we got to remain encouraged. And in fact, I am actually the keynote speaker today at the Divine Worship Church. They're having their graduation program, and immediately after the program today, I'm racing over there to give a commencement address. It should be quite interesting from what I've written down, if I can get it to work on my phone. So, but anyway, Professor, how was the week for you? How are Republican? I mean, you guys feeling all kumbaya'd up after what happened on Capitol Hill? How are you guys feeling right now?
Well, outside looking in, I think things are pretty good considering. I never trust those never Trumpers. I don't trust Mitch McConnell. They're going to say what they need to say. Speaker Johnson, I like him in general, but it's just hard to gauge. And so I don't know. It's just hard to read, because I know what we see is not actually what's going on. Donald Trump is not all of a sudden beloved by the Republican Party. They just know that they need to get in line.
Yeah, I thought about that. And I thought it was very disciplined of them to even put that front out there. Down to Mitt Romney. He went to the gathering. And I thought that was, I wonder what they get. What do you think they gave him to show up? I mean, like, Mitt Romney was there. I don't know who's left out. I don't know, besides every other Republican that worked in his administration and those that are not in, that may be in jail, who did not fall in, who did not fall in, who did not fall in line?
Well, what was interesting, and I don't know who the two senators are that allegedly Trump was referring to in some closed-door meeting, but, it was said that there were two senators that opposed him on everything, and I don't know who it was, but he said they're even talking like Republicans now. So do you know who he's talking about? Do you know?
I do not. I do not.
Okay.
I did not know.
So yeah,
I mean, listen,
hold
on, Professor. It would be an announcement to say I ever knew what Donald Trump was talking about, because I'm still researching these batteries in the boat and it being electrocuted and the sharks. Where he said that if a boat was sinking, would you want to be eaten by a shark or get electrocuted by the boat while it was sinking? And he preferred to be eaten by the sharks. I didn't know. I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know.
What I find is I'll tell you what I'm disappointed in. I was watching the Five because I watch a lot of conservative news. Listen to a lot of conservative shows, and I'm watching the Five, and they dedicated a majority of this show to the meandering, wandering Joe Biden over at the G7. That he's just looking up at the sky and he's wandering around, and the Italian prime minister has got to go get him. He's a wandering old man, right? And it turns out he's walking over to talk to the skydiving troops who've just landed, and he's actually talking to them and giving them a thumbs up and paying them some attention, as opposed to the other world leaders, which Fox knew, and they angled and clipped the photo to create a narrative. There's enough bad stuff about Joe Biden. You don't have to make stuff up. No one has to make up a story about Donald Trump, cooking and eating cats and things of that nature. We got enough real stuff to beat up Donald Trump with. I was just disappointed in that. Because a lot of people won't ever get that second part of the story, that he was not just a confused, wandering old man. We have enough moments that we can point to build that story. But I just think that messaging has to be more accurate if people are going to trust either one or what these parties put out in front of them, though. I just want to put that out there. Are you starting to get ready for go ahead. If you want to comment about that, go ahead.
Well, but just that, it's the media in general. I mean, cable news has already taken a hit. Just the believability, the trust factor hadn't been there. And it eroded when Trump was in office. Since Trump, CNN has its own slant, MSNBC has their own, and they do the same thing to Trump. Now, to your credit, and obviously what we know, the Five, Jesse Waters, he's not going to have anything negative about Trump, and he's going to go to bat. And he typically leads that. I think he's the lead panelist on that show. But still, that's not a part. I mean, that's the media. The media's always been slanted, and it's just worse now. I guess the last two elections we've seen, and no one really trusts the media. That's why they get their news from social media more so than the media now, and which is not much better, but
well, you're right, because that can be fun. So are you starting to get excited about the upcoming debates that we're going to have in just a few weeks out now? Starting to think, okay,
not. Not at all, because Trump's not going to stay on message, and he's going to try to rattle Joe Biden. Joe Biden's going to double down, and I think Trump is going to force some errors out of Joe Biden, and he's going to hit that laptop. He's waiting to get that laptop and those 50 signatures, and all kinds of stuff. They already got the juicing thing out, so the narrative's already there. I don't think the content is going to swing anybody. I don't think anyone's going to say, you know what, Joe's not so bad after all. I don't think they're going to say, Trump, he won me over. The content's not going to be there. It's just about optics and Trump trying to get licks and Joe Biden trying to show how bad he is, how bad Trump is.
I think you're right about that. My gut's going to be, I was checking out that news conference the other day, and that Joe Biden had, not Joe Biden had with over at the, I guess was at the G7, announcing that new program with Ukraine and the 10-year and all that stuff. I thought if he can be serviceable in the debate. If there are no brain freezes and he can look old. Old is not a problem. He can look old. What he can't look is incompetent. If Joe Biden doesn't look if he doesn't look incompetent, like he just is not as clueless and not there. And I had 2 conversations this week with 80-plus-year-old people. Retired Judge Perry Little celebrating his 55th year of bar membership, and I was stunned at how sharp he sounded. I also have a neighbor that I go and visit who's 87 actually. Again, I was floored at how lucid and on point he was, and I was thinking to myself, there are a lot of old people that still got it. So if Joe Biden does not get lost and start to think he's talking to his grandkids and he's on a boat, I think you walk out of that thinking, wait a minute, this guy's not as much of a doddering idiot as we thought. And if Donald Trump's role is going to have to be to show that he can be presidential, he's got to show that. There are a lot of people looking to vote for Donald Trump, I think. They're afraid because they think he won't be presidential. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, it's the bar he's always had to meet. As a matter of fact, I think the bar's a bit higher now. And if you remember in his first presidency, there was not much of a bar. Just, don't call someone a-hole, don't talk about a country. So the bar was never high. But I think so, and Trump has been polling so well, and we know polls have been historically wrong, but we also have to understand when they were wrong, they undermined Trump. That's when they were wrong. They were never wrong like Trump was winning, and he wasn't. They always had him down. So, you have to take that same thing in what's going on now. But since he's polling so well, he's showing up in some of these blue states. He's talking in New York and Jersey. He's talking in these places. He's polling really well. So I think him looking presidential, he's been trying to do that. But I think what hurts Biden is if anything comes out of this whole Russian subs, Cuba, off the coast, if that continues to play up, then we have yet something else to worry about. And that's where Trump comes off stronger, because we didn't have, I know what your argument is about wars. We didn't have them when Trump was in office. And we have so many things going on internationally that it didn't help Biden at all. It helps Trump.
Right. So, all right. Well, we'll see. Very soon we're going to have these debates coming up, and we will see who is going to be able to do the best presentation for their constituents, and then we'll see what the talking heads say about it. Professor, I want to thank you for calling in this morning. I appreciate you taking my time away from your classroom. If you ever need a speaker in class, Professor, I do well with the youth. Bring me in. Put me in the game, Coach. Bring me in.
I will need you out at HCC pretty soon, brother.
All right, then you take care, Professor. All right, take care. All right, that's the professor calling in. We're going to take a break, come back on the other side. This is In Touch News Radio, reality radio, where everybody can be a star. We'll be right back. Gotta have some nice hands. This is Attorney Clinton Paris. Accidents are beyond your control, but deciding who will represent you is your decision. If you've been injured, call me at the law office of Clinton Paris for a free consultation. 813-413-7924. Offices Riverview.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call Herman White at 961-6661. That's 961-6661. By now, we're all aware of the dangers of COVID-19. Like others with existing health issues, cancer patients are at a high risk due to their compromised condition. If you are newly diagnosed with cancer, your care likely can't wait. Moffitt Cancer Center is the best place for your cancer concerns and to provide guidance to help you plan your next steps. We're here for you. Call 1-888-456-2839 or go to moffitt.org/here for you.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
Hey, this is Tampa Bay Tammy. Don't forget to pick up your copy of In Touch News.
All right, we're back live on In Touch News Radio, reality radio. Everybody could be a star. Want to thank the professor for taking a minute to call in. The show's going to be a little bit abbreviated today because I'm a keynote speaker at Divine Worship Church for their graduation ceremony. Somebody thought I might have something to say, so it's gonna be interesting today. But we got a caller on the phone. Good morning, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Hello, caller.
Good morning. Yes, how you doing? My name is CJ.
All right, CJ, how you doing this morning?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Good. Now, CJ, where you calling from?
Calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Outstanding. Well, good. And listen, we appreciate you calling in. What's on your mind this morning?
Just calling in, just kind of getting my perspective a little bit on, I guess Trump and Biden. Now, I am a black supporter of Donald Trump.
Okay.
And with that, come with some backlash.
Oh, listen. You're safe here. You're among friends. Don't worry. We value your input, your opinion. And I think it's disappointing to me that so many people in our discourse right now don't feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and views. I may not agree with you, but I love hearing people in their perspectives, and I value that. So don't you put that aside. That is not no concern. Tell me then, okay? And maybe let me get this on the table. You sound like you're African American.
Yes, I am.
All right then. Okay, good. African American male. And so, tell me, you say now, are you a new supporter of Trump? Do you go back to his apprentice days? Are you a 2016 supporter of Trump? 2020? When did you decide? Hey, look, I think this Trump guy. I'm gonna go with Trump.
I think apprentice or so. That was that was really my thing. But started supporting him, I'll probably say in 2020. That's when I voted for him the first time.
Okay, so at the end of his first term, you thought, wait a minute, I like the direction America's going.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us some of the things about Donald Trump that make you believe this is why he's good for America.
Honestly, basically he is. He's not. Let's just start off. Let's be honest. He's not a perfect person. No one's a perfect person. I don't make decisions driven off my emotion about how I feel about someone as a person. But I think as a businessman, he's on point for the most part. He did very well with running the country financially, and that's what I look at a lot of times. I look at financially. I look at, do I got money in my pocket to feed my kids? Do I have opportunity to have a job to feed my kids and take care of my family? When he was the president, the U.S. had the lowest unemployment rate probably in the history of our country. He also, when he was president, we had our economy was one of the best it had ever done before in the history of our country. So I look at those things as being positives. I can get past the negative stuff that he does because no politician is perfect. Everybody got their scars and their warts. But I look at it from that aspect of it, of supporting him, which is the reason why I want to vote for him again. Because the person that we have here currently as our president, Everything that we buy is up. Okay, people are struggling, and crime is up. People are struggling with finding jobs. They say there's a lot of jobs out there, but it's not quality jobs that a lot of everyday Americans can go out there and get. Everything that we're doing right now, we got the wars going on. No wars when Donald Trump was in office. People over there in Russia, they wouldn't have done that stuff if a man who could control the country was currently ahead of it. Biden just seems, he's not for my cup of tea. I kind of take it as this, and maybe wrong, but it's just my perspective. Is Donald Trump is about capitalism, or he's about getting out there, grinding, working, earning something for yourself and your family to better yourself. That's more of what the Republican Party is versus what the Democrat Party is. The Democrat Party is they want to basically coddle you. They want to give you welfare and assistance and things like that, so they can continue to control the narrative and control you. They control your money. They control your decision making. And at any point in time, they can cut that off from you, and now you have to do what they want you to do. So as long as someone is constantly feeding you money and constantly have that control over you, they always will. So I want a man that's in there who's going to be in there, who's about business, who's about protecting the country, who's about literally making it great again, and making it good for everybody that's here. If you want to get up and pull your bootstraps up and work hard, you can do anything in this country. I still believe that about America. I still believe that. But when we're giving everything hand over fist, and we don't have to work, and we don't have to earn, and we don't have to grind, we don't have to hustle, then it makes us lazy, it makes us poor, it makes us weak. So that's one of the main reasons why I prefer Donald Trump over Joe Biden. Because Joe Biden, he falls over more than a toddler learning how to walk for the first time. And it's a man that if we have to, we was talking to the professor a little while ago, and I was listening, and he said if Biden can come out and look confident, if he can come out and not look senile or naive and this, that, and the third, if Donald Trump can't catch him up left and right, why do we have to put a person back in office that we know that he's not competent? We're hoping that he can be competent enough to look passable so people can vote for him. We can't do that. We cannot continue to do that and put ourselves in our country in this type of position just because we don't like the man Donald Trump is. I can distinguish myself from the man who Donald Trump is as a person versus the man he is as the leader of our country. And that's, and not both of it, why I prefer to vote.
I think those are consistent comments we hear from people that support Donald Trump. There's no doubt Donald Trump he displays leadership qualities, the kind that are attractive, things of that nature. Let me ask you this question. I don't think Donald Trump and or Joe Biden represent the best America has to offer. And my big issue is I wonder why we have on both sides two questionable candidates. Why do you think America picked Joe Biden? Why did America pick? Because they had some options. There are other people. There was a draft, Gavin Newsom campaign out there, and I know the standard bearers in the Democratic Party aren't going to let somebody just kind of march in and do what Obama did because no one thought he could even get away with it. But likewise, on the Republican side, there were a lot of other people that put their hand up and said, "Hey, you know what? I want to run for president." And these are the two people. What does these two flawed candidates say in your mind about America and where America is in its leadership?
Listen, neither one of these two are the best candidates that we probably can put up there. But that's not what this is about. Okay? They put people up there who they think can win. That's just what it is. Okay, the Republican Party knew more likely there was nobody they could put up there to run on this ticket that can beat Joe Biden besides Donald Trump. That's it. That is just where it is. They don't have a strong enough candidate to put up there outside of Donald Trump. And the reason why Joe Biden is in there is because he's, he is the guy that was already there, so he's running again. And people choose him because, again, they take Biden as being the less of the two evils. And it's really just that black and white. It's really that cut or dry. But he's not the lesser of two, and Donald Trump is the best other people got. So when you got these two candidates, and hey, this is all we got, We're gonna have to pick one of them. And at this point, it's choose a side.
Right. So,
Can you get past? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I want to hear what you have to say about getting past.
Oh, I was just saying, can you get past, the person Donald Trump that you may think he is, your old impressions of him, of being just this guy who doesn't care, he's crass, he's all these negative things. Can you get to what's best for your country? Get past that emotion part. We do a lot of things by emotion. We got to start doing things about what's really happening, taking place, and what's best for us and our children's children that's coming behind us. So if you can do that and keep an open mind, great. But if you're just going to go off of emotion and what you think and not really, look at what's going on around you right now and where blinders, where Joe Biden is president, and hey, we're going to be destined to repeat what we just went through the last 4 years. Wow. And nobody likes that.
Okay. Well, hey, listen. Remind me your name. You said it was CJ.
CJ, yes, sir.
CJ. Well, CJ, listen. Thank you for calling in. Please continue to listen to the show. Keep the number handy. Anytime you want to call in and give a perspective as a Trump supporter, the door is open to you to call in, and we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you very much for calling in.
Absolutely appreciate you.
Take care. All right, so that was CJ calling in. A rarity that we rarely get, folks that come in and really honestly share some of the things that attract them to Donald Trump, particularly in the Black and African American community. And, one of the things I would appreciate from him is he didn't come on here and just give you a bunch of talking points. I didn't hear very much I get out of Sean Hannity or some of these other talking heads, and he sounded very sincere. Whether I agree with him or disagree with him, I know that there's some stats out there, and I would challenge everybody to go look at some economic stats, and that will address some of the stuff, like unemployment right now is at its lowest it's ever been, wages are at the highest point they've ever been, poverty at the lowest time it's ever been. I mean, I can run off a list of these things economically that are inconsistent with the narrative that is put out about Joe Biden, and mainly that's because of the way that people feel. One of the other things is, listen, if you're a person who has access to resources, you've got an education, you've got a viable profession, you've got some money in the bank, you've got good credit, you've got all the things that equip you to go out and battle in America, well, then you're not inclined to understand the number of things that people need. For example, most businesses in America are small businesses. And guess how they get started? Small business loans. Guess who gives out those loans or backs those loans? The government. Think about that. Most businesses are small businesses, mom and pop businesses. And the majority of those businesses get loans. They don't, it's not their savings. People, it doesn't save my money. The majority of businesses start out with government loans, education-wise. But for the very few, almost everybody gets student loans to go to college. And we can argue about whether college should cost what it costs or not cost. It costs what it costs, right? They get student loans. And then they turn those loans into an education, into a profession that they contribute in society. Again, that's government support. So I'm always cautious about this, everybody, capitalism, go for it in yourselves. And then the last point I'll make about the capitalism piece is great if the playing field was level. If the playing field was leveled, hey, let's compete. But you can't give one team 4 downs and the other team only gets 3 downs and say they're fighting an even battle. And in that regard, I think that's the issue with pure capitalism in America. There's still too many things economically that restrict opportunity for African Americans and other minorities as well. So a lot of stats out there to go look at and maybe plug into. But I love the fact that we are participating in this election from both sides. And the more that we challenge people to put in place true policies that give opportunity, I think we'll be better off. The stronger an internet. We believe that the world revolves around what we do and what we say. Really, the world. Listen, Iran is not thinking, what is America going to do, how we treat someone. And in most places around the world, they're not thinking, okay, well, how will America respond to this? They're doing what's in best of their own countries. We got a call on the phone. Good morning, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
For calling in, I got to chime in on Saturday. This is my therapy too.
Wait a minute. I'm about to charge you now. This ain't free. I got to put I'm about to send that cash app to you. So what's going on? How you feeling?
That was a pretty good perspective that CJ called in, man. You know what? And that really kind of sheds another angle on how the black Trump supporters see they see Trump. I mean, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. There are certain narratives that people accept. Let me give you one. The narrative is the world won't do certain things if Donald Trump's in office. Well, that's not true. I mean, think about it. If that were the case, well, okay, Russia thinks it's okay to go in Ukraine, but then why is China not already trying to go into Taiwan or in Taiwan, if that's the case? If that really is the case, I don't think that we have as much influence on certain things. Or you'd have to say, okay, Joe Biden has prevented China from going into Taiwan. Prevented. Because I don't think anybody saw this thing with Ukraine really coming the way that it came. Not really. We thought it, but not really. I didn't think it would happen myself, but but that's a narrative that's out there. That boom. The second narrative, Donald Trump's a good businessman. If Donald Trump, when his father died and he inherited the estate from his father, if he had simply put that money in the stock market, he'd be 10 times wealthier than he is now. But he didn't. He went out and tried to do certain things, and we see his business strategies and the bankruptcies and things of that nature. They don't speak to a brilliant businessman. Now, here's why businesses do better. Some of them, the big ones, do under Donald Trump. They know that he's going to let them do whatever they want to do. They can do whatever they want to do with wages, with employees, with unions. And so it's a better climate from that perspective, but it's not a good climate for the workers, the individuals, or the consumers. So listening to what CJ said, he gave me a number of narratives that people accept about Donald Trump, but if you look at the numbers, they don't really play out. There is no evidence that the world is concerned about Donald Trump being in office, and so they won't go do certain things. That's not the case. In fact, it's Republicans trying not to support Ukraine right now. Joe Biden is trying to do all he can. It's the Republicans who are saying we don't want to give them all the stuff that they need to fight back. And I think Donald Trump even said he'd go negotiate a deal and let get that resolved. So anyway, but I love hearing from other people. What did you think of his comments, Carl?
He was a Trump supporter, and usually, their views are more of authoritarian. Some of them are
yes.
Some of them have less facts.
What do they do? Well, no, they just accept certain facts. Like I just said, or certain narratives. Donald Trump is a good businessman. That's been accepted, right? The world is not going to go to war if Donald Trump's in office. They accept that as kind of a fact. There's nothing to back that fact up, but they accept that. When what was it? George Bush was in office, we had the Twin Towers attacked. When Bill Clinton was in office, you had the Twin Towers attacked. They tried to blow him up on the boat. A Democratic president, they tried to blow him up. Republican president, they tried to blow him up. So I don't know that the world looks at us and is fearful of who's in office. International affairs are a lot more complex than that, though, I think. So what else? Yeah. What do you think about, Carl, the upcoming debates we're going to have in a couple of weeks between Donald Trump and my first thought was, what do you think about it being on CNN?
Well, I'm really looking forward to the debates, because you will really get to see some of the narratives, where Joe Biden looked incompetent, and you get to see Trump really staying focused. So that was an interesting point when you made where, what Joe Biden has to look in company. I think this debate will show that. And, with Donald Trump staying on point. So, and not going off talking about the batteries and talking about sharks and,
Have you researched that yet? I hadn't looked into it yet, but the batteries, would the batteries electrocute you? I don't know.
Wait, he was talking about the electric boats, having the electric boats out of the boat thing,
right? But
and then really getting this shark, But he did point out he's really terrified of sharks.
That's
really
what it's about.
Then they get right. He really get electrocuted, then they get ate by sharks.
Got it, though. All right.
So that was his point.
That is
but
great.
What the thing was that he wanted to point out how smart he was.
Really?
He went because he mentioned MIT. I went to MIT, and and nobody ever before. So he was grabbing for intellect.
Right. Absolutely. Well, hey, Carl, well, thank you for calling in. Thank you for listening in. Thank you for taking it easy on CJ. I had to be I was trying to be nice to him, be gentle. I didn't want to scare him. Trying to get him in the boat. I didn't want to scare because I want him to call back again and help us out with, where America's going. Give us some perspective. And he seemed thoughtful. He wasn't emotional. He didn't seem vengeful. He seemed thoughtful. And that's interesting.
Right.
He's not a sharp guy. So anyway, all right, Carl, thank you for calling in. Appreciate it very much. You have a great rest of your day. And go celebrate. Oh, wait, he's in the truck. All right. There we go. That's Carl, the trucker, And Father's Day. Happy Father's Day there, Trucker Carl. Appreciate you very much, my man. Listen up, everybody out there. Appreciate you all listening in this morning. We're going to cut the show a little bit short. Somebody thought I might have something to say to some graduates. So I'm heading out to the Divine Worship graduation ceremony today. And you won't believe what I'm doing tonight, Bezel. You won't believe where I'm going tonight. I'm going to Omega Psi Phi, the Pi Order chapter of Tampa, Florida. I'm going to the Q all-white party tonight. And guess what I'm wearing? Red and white, baby. Wait till they see me come in the door. Hey, y'all have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you back here again next week. Bye-bye.